In a small, dusty village nestled in the hills of an unnamed land, there lived a family struggling to make ends meet. The father, Ramesh, was a farmer with a sun-beaten face and hands calloused from years of labor. His wife, Meera, was a gentle woman with kind eyes, who managed the household with a grace that belied their poverty. They had 3 children: Arjun, the eldest, a boy of 12 with a curious mind; Leela, a 10-year-old with a talent for storytelling; and little Ravi, who was just 5 and always full of questions. Their home was a modest hut made of mud and thatch, standing at the edge of a field they did not own. Each day, Ramesh would wake before dawn to work the land, hoping for a good harvest. The landowner, a wealthy man named Patel, took most of the yield, leaving Ramesh with barely enough to feed his family. Meera, on the other hand, spent her days tending to the small vegetable garden behind their hut, cooking meals and sewing clothes from old fabrics. Despite their hardships, the family found joy in the simplest things. In the evenings, they would sit around a small fire outside their hut. Arjun loved to listen to his father's stories of the past, when life was not as hard. Leela would often create her own tales, weaving fantastical adventures that brought smiles to everyone's faces. Even little Ravi would contribute with his endless stream of questions, often prompting laughter with his innocent observations. One particularly dry season, the village faced a severe drought. The well, which was the only water source, had dried up. The fields turned to dust, and the crops wilted under the relentless sun. Ramesh and his fellow villagers prayed for rain, but the sky remained an unbroken expanse of blue. With no water, there was no food, and the family's already meager rations dwindled to almost nothing. Ramesh decided to seek help from Patel, hoping that the wealthy landowner might show some mercy. He walked the long distance to Patel's grand house, his feet kicking up clouds of dust with each step. When he arrived, he found Patel lounging in the shade of his veranda, sipping a cool drink. Ramesh humbly explained his plight, asking if Patel could spare any food or water for his family. Patel looked at Ramesh with a mix of disdain and boredom. "Why should I help you?" he asked, his voice dripping with indifference. "You work my land, you owe me a share of the crops. If you can't provide that, then you're of no use to me." Desperate, Ramesh pleaded, "Please, sir, my children are starving, we have nothing left." Patel sighed and waved his hand dismissively. "Very well," he said. "I'll give you a bag of rice and a jug of water. But remember, this is a loan. You'll have to repay me double once the rains come and you can harvest again." Ramesh, having no other option, accepted the harsh terms. He returned home with the meager provisions, his heart heavy with worry. Meera tried to reassure him, reminding him that they had faced difficult times before and survived. The family rationed the rice and water carefully, but it was clear that without rain, they wouldn't last much longer. Days turned into weeks, and the drought showed no signs of ending. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Leela noticed something strange in the sky. "Look, Baba," she said, pointing. "There's a star moving." Ramesh squinted at the sky. Sure enough, there was a light that seemed to be moving steadily across the heavens. It was not a star, but something else entirely. The villagers had never seen anything like it. Arjun, who was fascinated by the stars, suggested it might be a comet or a meteor. The mysterious light gave the family something to talk about other than their dire situation. It became a source of hope, a sign that perhaps change was coming. The next morning, as Ramesh was working in the field, he saw a stranger approaching. The man was tall and wore a simple robe. He carried a staff and had a kind face, though he looked weary from travel. "Good day, sir," the stranger greeted Ramesh. "I am a traveler seeking shelter and a bit of food. Might you be able to help me?" Ramesh, despite his own struggles, couldn't turn away someone in need. "We don't have much," he replied, "but you are welcome to what we can offer." The traveler smiled and followed Ramesh to the hut. Mira welcomed him warmly and offered a small portion of their remaining rice. The traveler ate gratefully, and as he did, he listened to their story. When he had finished, he thanked them and said, "I am not just any traveler. I have come to this village because I heard of your plight. I am a healer and a bringer of rain." The family looked at him in astonishment. Could it be true? The traveler stood and raised his staff. He chanted words in a language they did not understand, and suddenly the sky darkened. Clouds gathered, and within moments, the first drops of rain began to fall. It was as if the heavens had finally answered their prayers. The rain continued for days, filling the wells and reviving the fields. The villagers rejoiced, their spirits lifted by the sudden turn of fortune. Ramesh and his family worked tirelessly to replant the crops, knowing that their hard work would soon pay off. The traveler stayed with them for a while, teaching them ways to conserve water and improve their farming techniques. When the time came for the traveler to leave, the village had been transformed. The once parched land was now lush and green. The people, once despondent, were filled with hope. As the traveler departed, Ramesh and Mira thanked him profusely. "You have saved us," Ramesh said, his voice choked with gratitude. The traveler simply smiled and replied, "You saved yourselves by opening your hearts to a stranger in need. Remember, kindness begets kindness." As the seasons passed, the village flourished. Ramesh's family never forgot the traveler's words. They continued to help others, sharing what little they had, and in return, they received the goodwill of their neighbors. Arjun grew up to be a wise young man, always seeking knowledge. Leela became a renowned storyteller, her tales inspiring many. Ravi, with his endless curiosity, became an inventor, creating tools that made life easier for everyone. The family's fortunes had changed, not through wealth or power, but through the strength of their spirit and the bonds they shared with their community. They had learned that true wealth was not in material possessions, but in the love and kindness they gave and received. Years passed, and the small village where Ramesh and his family lived continued to thrive. The children had grown, and life seemed stable. However, the village's newfound prosperity caught the eye of outsiders. One day, a group of men arrived, claiming to be representatives of a powerful corporation. They wanted to buy the land and turn it into a commercial farming operation. The villagers were divided. Some saw it as an opportunity for wealth and modernization, while others, including Ramesh, feared losing their way of life. The leader of the men, Mr. Singh, was persuasive, promising jobs and better living conditions. He held meetings, offering money and incentives that dazzled many. Despite the pressure, Ramesh and a few others stood firm. "This land is our life," Ramesh argued. "We cannot sell it. What will become of us if we do?" Mr. Singh, growing impatient, began to use underhanded tactics. He spread rumors about Ramesh, trying to turn the villagers against him. The tension in the village grew, and the once tight-knit community started to fracture. One night, as Ramesh and his family sat by the fire, there was a knock on the door. It was Patel, the landowner. He had heard about the situation and had come to offer his support. Despite their past differences, he knew that selling the land would only benefit the corporation, not the villagers. "Ramesh," Patel said, "I've seen what these corporations can do. They promise much, but deliver little. We must stand together to protect our land. The next day, Patel called a village meeting. He spoke passionately about the importance of their heritage and the dangers of losing control over their land. His words resonated with many, but some were still swayed by Mr. Singh's promises. Arjun, now a young man, took a stand. We can find a way to improve our lives without selling our land. We've done it before, and we can do it again. Leela, using her gift for storytelling, began to weave a tale about a village much like theirs, where the people banded together to overcome adversity. Her story stirred the villagers' hearts, reminding them of their strength and unity. Inspired, the villagers decided to refuse Mr. Singh's offer. They would find their own path to prosperity. Ramesh and Patel, once adversaries, now worked side by side to improve farming techniques, secure fair prices for their produce, and build a cooperative that benefited everyone. The corporation didn't give up easily. They tried to intimidate the villagers, but the community stood strong. When Mr. Singh realized he could not break their spirit, he eventually left, seeking easier targets elsewhere. With the threat gone, the village focused on its future. Arjun, with his keen mind, introduced new irrigation methods that conserved water and increased crop yields. Leela's stories continued to inspire, bringing the community closer together. Ravi's inventions helped streamline their work, making farming less labor-intensive. As the years went by, the village prospered. The cooperative became a model for others, showing that unity and determination could achieve what money and power could not. Ramesh and Meera, now older, watched with pride as their children led the community into a bright future. The traveler who had brought the rain never returned, but his legacy lived on in the hearts of the villagers. They had learned that true strength came from within, and that by helping one another, they could overcome any challenge. In the end, it was not wealth or power that defined them, but their resilience, kindness, and the bonds of family and community. And so, the story of Ramesh and his family became a legend, passed down through generations, as a testament to the enduring spirit of the human heart.